I think the image of us and our people is so important to us because FAFSWAG operates at a meeting place where the past is having a conversation with the present, dreaming about the future. Yeah, Moana Ocean people have a complicated history of having our ancestry misrepresented through the colonial gaze. And I think our collective practice is interested in reclaiming those stolen stories so that we can determine for ourselves who we are, where we come from, and our place in the world and the cosmos.
A sunset, sunrise, a sun raised.
Hello Palava, my name is Apulu Pati Tarao. I come from the villages of FALE Sā'u and Whangali'i from Samoa, but I now live in Tamaki Makaurau in Aotearoa, New Zealand. Within my practice, I'm more focused on my culture and my identity as a queer and Pacific Samoan whawhawhingi. Yeah, and so a lot of the outcomes of my work is referencing stories and these myths or histories in our culture. Just really interested in how we bring the oral history into this visual language. As a photographer, as a performer, these are the kind of things I've been interested in. So when FAFSWAG first started, I think there was a lack of visibility around Pacific queerness. And so we made a lot of work in response to that. But I think we're 12 years deep now and the landscape has changed, the community has grown and that gap has been filled. So now we just have the chance to just create for ourselves.
Kia ora, my name is Mahia. I'm from Tamaki Makaurau, Auckland. My whānau come from Hokianga up north, and I'm a gender fluid digital-based artist.
My practice is a digital form of world exploring and community building. Well, at the time I didn't really know what a collective meant or was. I just enjoyed hanging out with these people that liked to do similar creative things, and yeah, they supported me and hyped me up and, made me feel safe.
I feel like the art world has a misunderstanding of who and what we are. Yes, we're artists, yes, we're creators, disruptors, but I feel like we're so much more complex than what the art world sees us as. FAFSWAG is a value system. FAFSWAG is a model of care. FAFSWAG is a point of view. FAFSWAG is a place to make mistakes. If we're using our own definitions, then FAFSWAG to me is chosen family.
FAFSWAG is a place where I can be my most authentic self. I can express how I'm feeling and how I am as a akawā'ine, as a trans woman. And it's also a place where I can be unapologetic. My name is Nahura and I'm from the Cook Highlands on a little plateau called Manihiki. I now reside in Tamaki Makaurau, Aotearoa, New Zealand, and Manurewa. I collaborated with Paiti Tarao and Tanango in this new work as part of the FALE SΑ' exhibition. Mostly of all my practice is performing arts. I'm always in the camera or live activation, but this time I was challenged to step behind and direct and produce this new work for Manchester International. As part of the FALE SΑ' exhibition, I created a moving image responding to Pati's provocation. It speaks of a relationship to grief, and how culture helps us process that space. I'm looking forward to sharing that space with the people of Manchester and having that conversation with them.
There's 10 members in FAFSWAG, so there's a lot of us. I think that FAFSWAG collectively have really shifted the gaze. I think for a really long time, the gaze has been a very white colonial one of how we have been perceived. And so having an opportunity to shift to be more reflective of how we imagine ourselves has been really important to the work that we create and why we create it, and how that, I guess, metabolizes into the images. Whakalofalahi atu, my name is Elisia Wilson-Hete. I use she, her pronouns. My lineage is, I have a mixed heritage. My dad's from Niue. We come from the villages of Awasele and Tamakotonga. I currently reside in so-called Australia on the Wurundjeri country. I am an interdisciplinary artist and producer, community facilitator, builder, and have been with FAFSWAG from the beginning. What I hope people take away from experiencing the FALE SΑ and the different components of what has made that FALE up is an insight to our culture and where there are connection points, and that actually as people of the global majority, we are entangled, and there's a lot of entanglement in our stories, our culture, and what it means to be in relationship with our mythology, lore, our stories, and how that shows up in the world, in ourselves, and in our stories, yeah.
I think we're part of a generation that spent a lot of time being invisible, especially in the contemporary arts world. It used to feel important for us to make an impact, not as a spectacle, but as a form of disruption. You can't keep pretending like we're not here, and you can't keep ignoring us. Malolele, my name is Tabok. I am from the Kingdom of Tonga and an artist based here in Tamaki Makaurau, and also part of the queer arts collective FAFSWAG. I think it's also been a valuable lesson for the collective to realize that we're now the ones taking up all the space, and it's us casting a shadow. We're still finding our way, but being able to step back and just work on our own stuff is just as important. Right now I am working on Untitled, or Mata e Moana, for the FALE SΑ exhibition in Manchester 2025. A little expansion on that is a soundscape of the ocean and a reconnection to a spiritual being with the moana, or the ocean, back home in Tonga. The process has been very interesting, but also been great because I got the chance to go home to Tonga with the family for Dad's birthday and record some stuff from there. So it connected really well with what I'm working on.
I think we align closely together visually, conceptually, culturally. So there are certain things that are at the base value of our practices that are very close together. FAFSWAG is probably my favourite. Anyone in the collective is my favourite to collaborate with. The excitement, the support, the laughs, the vulnerability. It's a very open space, so yeah, collaboration's actually really easy in the collective. Kia ora, ko Jamie Waititi tōku ingoa. He uri ahau no te whānau apanui ngā tipirau ngā puhi te raroa, no te tai rāwhiti o te ka Māui ki Aotearoa. My name is Jamie Waititi. I'm from the east and the north of the North Island. I'm Māori, Indigenous to Aotearoa, New Zealand. I'm an artist and an art producer. My practice is multidisciplinary. Essentially, it's whatever I want it to be when I'm making artwork. The The thing that I connected most to for the concept of FALE sã was the spiritual practice. One of the funnest things that I am doing at the moment is doing a digital rendition of tukutuku patterns, which are traditional Māori lashings in the form of 80s and 90s gaming style. For me, FALE sã was an immediate provocation for me to answer with my connection to Ringatu. My structure is huge. Every piece in the gallery is immersive, is large, is about putting you into an environment where you can holistically experience the stories of each of our different peoples and where they've come from. And we come from all over Polynesia, so beautiful warmth and a whole lot of intergenerational knowledge.
FAFSWAG to me is a space where I think artists are allowed to be critical of their experiences, of their surroundings. And it's also been a place where you can challenge stereotypes or preconceived notions about the world. Talofa lava, my name is Tanango. I'm of Samoan heritage and based in Tamaki Makaurau in Aotearoa, New Zealand. My background is in animation, filmmaking, and moving image. I think the thing that I personally love about the collective is that we're not all artists and that some of us come from different backgrounds and different lived experience, and we don't always agree on things. In that group of very chaotic friends, people have different values, and I think when we share space together, we're able to navigate those values and talk about what's really important to us. It's also not a forever space. Like, people have come and kind of taken what they needed from that experience and then moved on to other things. Some members have been here since 2013. Yeah, for me, one of the most profound things that we practice as a collective is friendship. I'm just glad that I am afforded the opportunity to make art with people that I care about and about things that I care about.